Hey, how you doing? Slim Overton again, here on another walk through the community on the Slim Nation. And I'm doing this again just to walk through another part of Arcadia Heights and also to share some of my feelings about what's going on in the political world nationally and locally. But first, I'm going to start out with just walking through the community. The last time I walked down Arcadia Avenue, this time I'm walking down Magnolia Street. And for those who lived out here and remember about Magnolia Street, it's one of the three main streets in Arcadia Heights. And, okay, ducking tree branches again. Magnolia, Pinewell Street, and Arcadia Street, which is comprised of Arcadia Heights. Of course, there's the cross streets of Astor, which is the one I lived on, Astor Avenue. Originally, it was Allen Avenue, but they changed it when I was a very young guy to Astor Avenue. Don't know why, but it's been that ever since I can really remember. But I do remember Allen Avenue. And then Killian, parts of Killian is a part of Arcadia Heights, as well as Truxton, and that's the last street before the interstate. As a matter of fact, parts of Truxton and probably Arcadia Heights extended. Let me show you some of the houses out here. Some of the houses that are still out here. Some of the original families, cousins, sisters, brothers still remain in them. Most of the families are gone, but we still have some people hanging in there like myself. I just passed by Kyle Parker's house, original house where they lived, and so yeah, it's a big part of so we're still walking out here in Arcadia Heights and on Magnolia Street and coming down. Pretty soon we'll be up at, we'll be at Killian, which is part of Killian comes through Arcadia Heights as well as North Truxton. Some of the other houses out here. Just walking. How y'all doing? All right. Yeah, I'm gonna continue to keep walking and try to get that exercise. Encourage you all to do the same. Show you a few more of the houses on Magnolia. I have them in sight. Some have been improved. Some are still original, or pretty close to original. Some have been torn down. This is on the corner of Killian and Magnolia. I think a candy lady used to be here. Here's a nice looking, older looking home. Then you have some new ones here. So I'm across Killian and go down to Trexler. And I was mentioning earlier, many of you know Trexler is the last street right now in Arcadia Heights. But before that, they extended to Frederick Boulevard and maybe across there, Truxton and Arcadia Heights. But the interstate came through Truxton and Douglas Park and displaced a lot of people that originally lived out here, and they went a lot of different places. A lot went to Cavalier Manor, which was up and coming then, accommodating people that had to move or just wanted to step up. Cavalier Manor first started out as Victory Manor, very modest home, and as they extended or expanded, they expanded into very upscale homes. That was Cavalier Manor. Here are some of the replacement homes out in historic, well, not historic, but Arcadia Heights. These all used to be the little small modest homes that were throughout Arcadia Heights, which accommodated the families at the time, even families that had multiple children. Somehow they made it. With one bathroom, parents, two parents, and multiple children. I guess it's all about scheduling, especially in those school days. But this is where the interstate came. It's kind of hard to see now. As I walk down further, you'll be able to see. But this is where the interstate came through and displaced many original Arcadia Heights and North Truxtun people, as well as Douglas Park. It went all the way through Douglas Park and mostly affecting those two black neighborhoods. A lot of people had to move. I'm sure they were compensated for their homes, but sometimes, you know, it's a lot of sentimental value in the homes and it's hard to move, but it all worked out in the long run for people. It just made our community smaller. And then they came through not too long ago, maybe about 4 years ago, to do some more improvements to the interstate and displace some more people. Not that many, not at what they originally said they were going to displace. They didn't, thank goodness. But they displaced two people, a lady that's been out here a long time. And the only reason they displaced her was while they were working, so they could place their machines. Because they never built anything, or the interstate didn't go where her house was. They just moved her so they could put their machines that they were working with. They needed an area to set their machines. I'm showing you some of these houses on Trexler. A lot of them are well kept. But anyway, that's the way it goes, you know. It's always, you know, back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, they had this thing called urban renewal, which did away with Lincolnville. It was supposed to be for the betterment of the city. But they took out a whole community, a thriving community. Lincolnville, a community that had everything that the people in that community needed. Stores, the people that lived there, electricians, doctors, lawyers, everything. Just like it was out here in Arcadia Heights. And this is the area that they took two homes because they were improving the interstate over here to make another alley, another street, or another lane for the interstate. And they took two homes from here, and what they were doing did not affect those two homes at all. In other words, they could have remained there. They could have found a place to put their trucks and tractors and things like this, but that's what it turned out to be. This is where, when they were working, they put their trucks, tractors, and whatever other materials they needed to have a central location. They displaced two people. One lady had been out here for years. I think she was in her 80s when she had to move to Cavalier Mountain. And she really didn't want to go, but she was compensated, I believe well. But to displace her from an area where she had been pretty much all of her life, just so they could put trucks and tractors there while they were working on the interstate, was not fair. But nobody knew. All they said that they needed those houses for the interstate to come through, and it did not affect them at all. And we didn't know until after they were going. If we had known that that's what they were going to do, just have a spot to put their, you know, materials and everything like that, we would have put up a really big protest, you know. But what they told us originally, that they needed those homes, and they said they needed all those homes that I just passed by, all the way down to the end of the corner. They originally said they were going to take those, but then the plans changed and they backed off of that. But anyway, that's the way life goes. And the lady, she's happy out there. You know, she's gotten adjusted. But it was a great move for her to have to move like that. Anyway, I wanted to say a little bit about, go over here in the shade. I wanted to say a little bit about the people in Georgia. And I trust that the people in Georgia, regardless of all the things that have been done to try to stop certain people from voting, but I hope the people in Georgia are mobilizing, especially the black people, and make sure, even though the race seems to be close, that Herschel Walker doesn't be the next senator from Georgia. You know, it's almost like a slap in the face where the Republicans will go out and get the least qualified, or sometimes the dumbest people, and put them up there as a candidate against somebody that's well qualified, and the race is close. It's a slap in the face, and it really will be a slap in the face if we don't go out there, because what they're saying, they can put anybody up against our best and beat us. Anybody. As long as they can talk, see, walk, and do the basic, simple things that everybody can do. But they don't have to be qualified, they don't have to be well educated, they don't have to be well spoken, they don't have to be knowledgeable of the issues. Just put them up there. We can put anybody up there and make it a close race and probably win. So I hope the people in Georgia, the majority of people who don't want Herschel Walker in there and want Senator Warnock as a part of, to remain in the Senate, to get out there and make sure they get out there and vote. And don't be intimidated by anything that they're trying to throw at us to discourage us from voting. I mean, these videos that come out now about Florida, where these people are being arrested for voter fraud because they had felonies. And instead of checking with these people, all they did was vote. The only thing they did wrong, what they say is wrong, was go out and vote. Check out on YouTube, there's some videos out there showing that these people being arrested, having a warrant out for them because they voted. And the law that the DeSantis put in says they have to arrest them. Now, normally you would catch these people on the front end when they go to vote. If they weren't eligible to vote, you should have catch them there. But the way the DeSantis set it up, that they checking people on the back end after they have voted, and then they're coming after them and arresting them, and for a felony. But a felony, whether the bond is reduced or they can sign themselves out, but they have to go down, be arrested, be booked, fingerprinted, and all that stuff, and then they can sign themselves out. Don't even have to get a bond for a felony now. And the only thing is, they'll be home the same day, but until something happens to get that particular spot off your record, that's another felony on your record. And most of these people have already served their time for whatever they did, but they being arrested for voter fraud, for pretty much breaking the law. And that's kind of crazy. A little more of the interstate just ran right through our community. I guess it could have been routed a little differently, but it is what it is, and the state has the right to come in there and take the land for public use. And the interstate is considered public use, and it's an advantage to having that interstate there. But wow. But anyway, your people in Georgia and Florida, make sure you get out there. All over the country, they have these races where they have competent people, the Democrats have competent people running for particular offices for sitting officials that need to get out of there, that need to be out of there because of their views. And we just need to hold on to the Senate, and in order for us to get something done. But please listen. And I'm confident that you don't hear a lot about it, but I'm confident that there's people in Georgia that are mobilizing and that are preparing to get out there in the masses and make sure that they prove those polls wrong. It's just crazy. But never forget your local elections. They are so important because people, like we always say, they directly affect you. You know, they'll vote on the budget in May, and by July 1st, whatever they voted on, whatever new laws that are to come in effect, start then. So nationally, it takes a little while for whatever they do there to trickle down to the states and to the localities. But make sure you get involved and get out there and vote. Early voting has already started in the city of Portsmouth, and you need to get out there and cast your vote. And if you want to wait and give yourself time to vet the candidates, do that too. And some people traditionally like to vote on election day. It's just something that they've been doing for years, and it just feels right to them to vote on November 8th. So that's good too. But also give you additional time to get out there and vet those candidates. It's quite a few. It's 11 people running for city council. Some incumbents, including incumbents, and new candidates. And when you check them out, check out the new candidates. Check out and see how active they've been in the community. What have they been doing? Did they just pop up from nowhere and say, I want to run? I'm not saying that those people that do that are not qualified, but you want to have someone in there that has a track record that's been out there on the ground, that's been out there in the communities, that's been out there getting to know the people, and the people know them, and they are well versed in the issues and qualified to step in if you want to replace anybody that's there and do a good job. So make sure that's what vetting is all about, making sure you get the people in there that's going to do a good job. If you believe that the present council, the way it sits now, has been serving you well, it's your right to keep them there. My main thing is that you vote and that you take your time and make sure you know who you're voting for, why you're voting for them, and if they're incumbents, have they served your interests for the last 4 years? If not, then it's time for a change. It's up for you. But the main thing is that you get out there and vote. You get out there and vote in great numbers. If you're voting early, excuse me. If you're voting early, vote early. To get out there and do your duty. Still walking through Arcadia Heights, still trying to get a little exercise, not walking fast, but when I go off the camera, I'll pick up the speed a little bit, sort of get that cardio built up, get the heart rate going like it should. My new heart, have to take care of it. It's a second chance. But again, and I'll show you a little bit more of Arcadia Heights. This is Pinewell Street. The one thing about Arcadia Heights, and I think it's true for many of the African American communities from the 60s, 70s, all the way up to today, that it was a community, a village, where people really looked out for each other, everybody knew each other. Times have changed. People have moved out. You know, you see a lot of these here, homes for sale, because the original families, the patriarchs and matriarchs of the family have gotten older or gone on to homes or passed away, and either the family didn't want the home, or it was too much trouble, or they were moved away, and it didn't make sense to come back. So getting a lot of new people, which is a good thing, but it's just not the same sense of community that we're used to, the ones of us that grew up here. We had everything we needed here: doctors, lawyers, teachers, as I talked about on the last video. But times change, and what we try to do, and especially Val Johnson, who's president of the Wilson Ward Civic League, that covers about 7 neighborhoods in the area, Arcadia Heights including, tries to make sure she makes that connection with the new people that come in and give them an opportunity to be a part of the Civic League. A lot of times people are not as interested in being a part of the Civic League until something happens that affects you. Then they run to the Civic League. But regardless, the Civic League is there for you. But it would be nice if you would be a part of it and make sure that you pay the dues, which is just $25 a year, and help support what the Civic League is doing. They're out there for the people in the neighborhood. And President Johnson Williams, I said Val Johnson, but she's Val Johnson Williams, is very active. Everybody knows her downtown because she fights for the community. She fights for things that need to be done in the community, improvements that need to take place, and she cares about the people. Even if they don't all come to the meetings, she still cares about the whole communities, all 7 communities that the Wilson Wards covers, and that being Arcadia Heights, like I said. But anyway, if you get the opportunity to move out in our area, get to know where you are, and if there's a little bit of history about it, learn a little bit about the history, and from people. And you get that from talking to neighbors. You come out in the community like this, and you live next to someone. It doesn't make sense. You live next to someone, and you go in and out and never speak. What kind of sense does that make? You never know when you might need that person to assist you in something, to help you, or to watch your house when you're not there, or to watch your house when they see something suspicious and report it. So it's always good to at least speak to your neighbors and occasionally hold a conversation and get to know each other. So keep that in mind when you move into these new neighborhoods. I know some people come from places where they don't really dialogue with each other. Certain neighborhoods or certain apartments, you don't get that a chance to do that because people are in and out, and you just don't see each other that much. But in a neighborhood like Arcadia Heights, we welcome that. We look for that situation where we can become not only neighbors but friends. And it's not like you hang out with them all the time, but neighbors in a community is a special kind of bond that you have, because whatever happens to some, could affect others. So make sure you speak to your neighbor. If anything, just throw that hand up and say hello, good morning, good evening, how are you? Because you never know. But anyway, I'm getting ready to go off now so I can speed up my walk and probably cover a little bit more of the neighborhood. But I just wanted to come on again and do my little walk and talk on the Slim Nation and Slim Talk. But this is Slim Talk Walk. But anyway, thanks everybody. Appreciate you. And as always, be aware, be informed, and be involved. Take care. God bless you.